What's up, guys? It's Josh back with SobrietyWoD. If you've been before, welcome back. If it's your first time, welcome. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the amends process and the difference between amends and feeling sorrow. So if you're anything like me, you probably made I'm sorry sort of a part of your daily conversation. I know towards the end of my active addiction, I'm sorry was pretty much the first and last words that came out of my mouth with pretty much everybody I dealt with. And, you know, it's not that, I guess the tricky thing is that I genuinely was sorry. You know, I was sorry for my behavior. I was sorry for what I did. I was sorry for how I made people feel. It wasn't my intention to hurt anyone or anything like that, but regardless of my intention, that's what always seemed to happen. And without any way to fix it, I'm sorry was the best I had. Well, what I needed really was a way to get past that. And the amends process that I learned in recovery is sort of a step-by-step guide, a way for us to deal with that sorrow that we feel. So when we're sorry, you know, and we keep repeating behavior and we keep hurting people, then we have the guilt and the shame and all that stuff that's associated with our behavior that we can't seem to stop. The guilt and the shame is added on top of that. That makes us uncomfortable. The only way we know how to be comfortable again is to start acting out in the same behaviors that were causing us to be I'm sorry in the first place. And we end up in this kind of vicious cycle. Well, the amends process, that's where the change is. So amends is different than being sorry. And you can even just think about the word mending is in there. And what it has to do with is actually repairing the wrong that we did. That's the step I never took. You know, I'd stay out all night, I was sorry. But there was no guarantee or even an attempt to not stay out the next night. I was just sorry for the last night. And what happens is, like, early on it works, right? Just like using, early on it works. It makes us feel better. It helps us accomplish whatever it is we were after. And saying I'm sorry kind of buys us some time. But eventually we start to run out of time. People get tired of hearing I'm sorry, and that was the best we had. This amends process gives me a way to actually try to right my wrongs. And it's important, I would recommend, that you seek somebody out to help guide you through this amends process, because it can get kind of tricky, you know, on two sides. Sometimes we don't want to actually like fully do the amends because we feel like the other person might have been more at fault than us. Sometimes we want to do too many amends, and we really need to avoid certain situations where to do that amends might actually cause more harm than good. And also, what's important is that we understand where we were wrong and what we actually are capable of fixing and what we're not. So this amends process is sort of like the I'm sorry. That's like the first part of it, but the rest of it is making right what we had done and then actually instituting some behavioral changes that are going to the best of our ability, keep us from having to say that shit again tomorrow. So you guys, the discussion portion is just about how, you know, you've seen the difference between the I'm sorry process and the amends process in your own life. And maybe y'all can share a couple stories and a couple examples. Have a great discussion, and we'll be right back with the CrossFit portion.